Hey everyone, I'm Christopher Quyen. I am a fashion photographer based here in Sydney, and today we are shooting Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Australia, and I'm working with BenQ monitors today to show just how I capture the streets. Today I'm shooting with the Canon 1DX with a fixed 85mm lens. Most people use a 70-200 while they're shooting street style, but for me the 85, it's just perfect because I'm able to visualize my image just before I raise my camera up and capture it. That makes it really good in situations where I'm capturing moments in the street and it's really fast because I know exactly how far I have to be away from my subject in order to capture what I've envisioned. I like to shoot in manual. The first thing I do when I get to Fashion Week is I look at all the areas of light inside the location, from the harsh light to the soft light to the shade, and I figure out what are the best settings to use in each light scenario. That way, when I arrive to that scenario, I can dial in my settings right away and shoot the perfect image. Usually when it gets kind of hectic and the light is changing so fast, then I switch to AV mode so I can stick to a nice 3.2 to 4 to get that really nice shallow depth of field thanks to my 85mm lens. And of course, I shoot in RAW because when you're shooting the streets, color is really important. Magazines, readers, editors, they all want to see what the fashion looks like. They don't want to see what sort of crazy filter. They want to see what the true color of this fashion piece looks like. It's all about accuracy for me. So shooting in RAW, very important. So I first fell in love with photography when I bought a Fuji X-E2 off Gumtree for only $400. It was such a joy to shoot with. I shot photos of my friends, my family and my loved ones, and one of the places that I traveled to with the camera was Japan. I went on a 2-month trip by myself with $1,000 in my bank account, and the first thing I did when I got there was I bought a $500 bag. So there I was in Japan, $500 in my wallet, and I was thinking, how am I going to survive? Well, one of my friends suggested that I should shoot models for only $100, and that's what I did. I started a really simple website with some portraits of my friends, and I contacted every single model in Tokyo using Instagram, using Model Mayhem, saying, hey, I'll shoot your portfolio for only $100. I ended up coming back to Australia having made quite a bit of money thanks to that, and I started thinking, hey, I could actually make photography my career. I could actually turn this into a business. So I started shooting portraits, started shooting fashion, and it wasn't until one of my friends came to me and said, hey, I need help for shooting this thing called Fashion Week. And I thought, Fashion Week? That sounds really cool. So I ended up coming to Carriage Works, and I ended up sneaking backstage and started shooting photos of everything from backstage to runway to street style, and I published those images on a little independent magazine. Well, turns out somebody in New York actually saw my images and they reached out to me and said, hey, we saw your images on this magazine and we think you have a little bit of potential. How about you come and shoot for us at New York Fashion Week? I just said yes. And ever since then, it's been a crazy journey. I've been to Milan Fashion Week, been to London, been to Paris, been to Florence, shot in New York Fashion Week again, and now I'm back here at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Australia, back where it all started, and I'm just really excited to be here. So when I bring up the raw image in Capture One, I usually like to start with getting my exposure right. Because I shoot on a fixed 85mm lens, usually the shot that I capture is exactly how I envision it, so there's not a lot of cropping. But I usually start with a low contrast and high brightness, so the image really pops but still maintains that sort of dynamic range in the image, sort of similar to film. And then after I get my exposure right, I usually jump into the tone curve in order to get the colors that I really want. in my images. Now I'm just going to go over here and apply a preset that I made to emulate Portra 400 because I shoot on a lot of film. And as you can see, it brings that redness and that warmth that comes with Portra 400. And if you look here on my tone curve, I've actually adjusted each curve of the RGB curve in order to like give it this sort of color. So what I'm like seeing right away off my BenQ monitor is like the colors are just so vibrant and the detail in the image is just so crisp. You can see the beautiful gradient here from the light hitting her sunglasses go from orange to red, the gold is glistening, and her blue lipstick is just that electric blue. And I just love being able to see it right here in its true color on the BenQ monitor. So color management became really important to me because of a stupid mistake that I made. I was shooting a campaign for a client and the first thing she said when she got her images was, "Why do my images look so purple?" I quickly realized that it was because I was editing on a laptop that didn't have a wide enough color gamut to interpret the images in a very color accurate way. Back when I thought I was actually pushing the reds, I was actually pushing the purples in the images, and it made these images really, really purple. That's when I realized that I had to invest in a good monitor, and my monitor of choice is the BenQ AQ color range. It just completes so many things that a high-end and high-quality monitor does, but at a very affordable price point. I spend probably tens of thousands of dollars on my equipment already, and I don't want to be spending up to $5,000 on a monitor. So choosing a monitor that fell within the $1,000 to $2,000 price range was actually perfect because it meant that I wasn't blowing out my budget and I'd still be able to achieve such high quality and color accurate images. Talking about color accurate images, the assurance that I get that the images that I edit are going to look exactly how they look on digital or print straight off the monitor is a huge bonus for me. That 99% Adobe RGB is just something that I can always rely on, and I know that because I've invested in this monitor, it's going to last for quite a long time. But I think the biggest win for me is portability. That snap-on, snap-off feature, it's just amazing. I'm able to take it pretty much anywhere. We're right here in the media center in Carriage Works, and I was able to take this monitor from my office to location. And even more than that, I also take this monitor from office to studio to other studios, so my clients can see that the images that we're getting are 100% color accurate. So all those three things combined just made the BenQ monitor the obvious choice for me. So we're finally here at the end of the day at Fashion Week, and we're in the beautiful Chinese gardens about to go into the Double Rainbow show. It's been a great day documenting great fashion, beautiful faces, and bold runways. For anybody who wants to start a career in documentary fashion or even fashion photography, I think the most important thing is relationships. When you're here at Fashion Week, make friends. You never know, a small conversation you have here at Fashion Week could lead to your first fashion campaign or your first fashion client. And the second thing is, do pay attention to the lights, the color, and the images you create. Try to make them as accurate as possible. Designers, artisans, and craftsmen spend hours, days, and months trying to perfect shades into their clothing to create different and beautiful colors into their fabric. As a fashion photographer, I think our job is to try to recreate and reproduce those colors as accurately as possible, and also to make the images beautiful. So I'm about to go into the Double Rainbow show. I don't know when I'll be seeing you guys next, but hopefully New York Fashion Week. See you there.